The sky burned with the last colors of the dying sun, deep oranges melting into dusky violets, the first stars shyly peeking through the vast African sky. The great Baobab tree, ancient and wise, stood at the edge of Mutowamawe, its gnarled roots gripping the earth like the hands of ancestors refusing to let go. Beneath its sprawling branches stood Koinet and his bride-to-be, Nicerian. The warm wind played through Nicerian's long, beaded braids as she stared at the distant hills where the horizon swallowed the land. Koinet, his heart full of joy, reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. Tomorrow, she would be his wife. Yet something was wrong. Nicerian's hand felt light in his, her fingers barely curling around his own. Her gaze was distant, her lips slightly parted as if holding back unspoken words. "Koinet," she whispered, her voice barely carried by the breeze. "Do you believe a person can ever escape their past?" Koinet chuckled softly, brushing his thumb over her palm. "You are here now, Nicerian. With me. That's all that matters." But she did not smile. Instead, she turned to him, her dark eyes full of something he could not name, something silent, something unspoken. "If something happens, promise me you won't stop searching for the truth." Koinet frowned, confused by her sudden seriousness. "What do you mean?" Nicerian exhaled slowly, then leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to his forehead. "I love you, Koinet." And then she turned, walking away, her silhouette fading into the twilight. A strange sense of unease crept into Koinet's chest. He did not know why, but he should have asked her to stay. Dawn arrived with celebration. Women pounded millet in wooden mortars, their voices rising in wedding songs passed from mother to daughter. Children played and ran around, their laughter bright like birdsong. The elders gathered beneath the great Oratiti tree, where the wedding rites would begin. Koinet entered Nicerian's hut, expecting to find her wrapped in bridal fabric, adorned in golden beads. Instead, the silence hit him first, too still, too empty. Then he saw it, the wedding dress, neatly folded on the bed, her sandals sitting by the door, untouched, and the one thing that was missing, her silver locket. His heart clenched. "Nicerian?" His voice broke the quiet, raw with growing panic. Silence. Then, outside, whispers. The villagers began to gather, voices rising like dry leaves caught in the wind. "She is gone. Did she run away? Was she taken?" Koinet's brother, Legishon, placed a firm hand on his shoulder. Maybe she just needed time to think. But Koinet knew better. She was gone, and this wasn't her choice. The river churned with restless waters, reflecting the storm-gray sky above. Esiankiki, Nicerian's closest friend, knelt at the riverbank, scrubbing a cloth against a smooth stone. But her hands moved too quickly, the fabric fraying under her grip. Koinet approached, his steps heavy with urgency. "You were the last one to see her." Esiankiki stiffened, her grip tightening. "I don't know anything, Koinet. Don't lie to me." His voice was steady, but beneath it burned a storm. Esiankiki's fingers dug into the wet cloth, her eyes fixed on the water. Then, after a long silence, a whisper. "She once asked me, 'Can you ever escape your past?'" Koinet's breath caught. Her past? Esiankiki swallowed hard. She was afraid, Koinet. But before he could press her further, she ripped the cloth from the water, stood abruptly, and walked away. She was lying. And whatever she was hiding, it terrified her. The baobab tree stood where it always had, towering over the land, its thick roots gripping the past. Koinet felt drawn to it, like something was calling him. And then his foot struck something hard. He knelt, brushing away the dirt, and froze. Nicerian's silver locket. His fingers trembled as he opened it. Inside was a small, faded photograph. A man. Koinet's pulse thundered. A face he did not recognize. Who was he? And why did Nicerian keep his face close to her heart? Koinet found Nilai, the village healer, seated outside her hut, grinding herbs with aged hands. She barely looked up as he approached. "You walk heavy today, Koinet." He held up the locket, his voice shaking. "Who is he?" For the first time, Nilai stilled. Then, slowly, she lifted her gaze, her deep eyes reflecting something ancient and fearful. That man was never meant to be found. A cold wave washed over Koinet. Nazirian was running from him, wasn't she? The old woman sighed. "Some ghosts do not rest in graves, child. Some walk among us, waiting to be seen." The day after was unlike any other. As people went about their daily lives, there were whispers everywhere. What could have happened? Maybe she ran away. Was she cheating on him? How could that be? She was such a good girl. Lolkera, the village drunkard, was a herdsman by day, drunkard by night. On this day, the whispers spread across the savannah like a wildfire caught in the dry season, rustling through the grass and leaping from ear to ear with the swiftness of the wind. By sunset, something had become very clear in Lolkera's mind, like the full moon in the grassland sky. 2 nights before, in the dead of night while the village slept, he had witnessed a crime, a kidnapping. He was by the river and in a drunken stupor. When he sobered up in the morning, he thought the spirits of the changa, the thick fermented brew, had played games on his mind. He had to tell Koinet. It was the least he could do. Koinet found Lolkera sitting outside the wine hut, changa gourd in hand. They went inside. The air was thick with the scent of changa, the dim lanterns casting long shadows on the mud walls. "She didn't disappear," Lolkera muttered, voice thick with changa and regret. "She left." Koinet's stomach dropped. "With who?" Lolkera hesitated. "A man with a scar." The world around Koinet blurred. The man in the locket. "You saw him?" Lolkera nodded slowly. "Someone in the village told him where to find her." Koinet felt his chest tighten. Someone had betrayed her, and that someone was close. The fire outside their home crackled, casting long shadows as Koinet stood before Legishon. His brother sat sharpening a knife, his movements slow, deliberate. "It was you, wasn't it?" Koinet's voice shook with rage. Legishon didn't look up. "You told him where she was." The blade scraped against the stone. "I did what I had to do." Koinet lunged, his fist slamming into Legishon's chest. Years of brotherhood shattering in a single breath. "You betrayed me!" Koinet shoved him back, eyes dark with something between anger and sorrow. Legishon stumbled but did not fight back. His voice was low, breaking. "I loved her too, Koinet, but she would never love me. She was running, and I thought if she was scared enough, she'd stay." The words ripped through Koinet. Legishon's eyes fell. "I only meant to scare her," he whispered. "I didn't think he'd actually—" Koinet's heart pounded. He staggered back, the weight of the betrayal crashing over him like a wave. His own brother had destroyed the only happiness he had ever known. Where did he take her? Legishon hesitated, then sighed. South, toward the riverlands. Koinet turned, stepping into the night. He would find her, and Legishon would have to live with what he had done. The wind still whispers beneath the Baobab tree. A bride has vanished, a secret has surfaced, and in the silence left behind, a storm begins to stir. As Koinet follows the footprints into the riverlands, he will uncover not only what happened to Nazirian, but what was done to her long before they ever met. Because some betrayals begin long before the wedding day, and some pasts refuse to stay buried. Watch part 2 of Whispers of the Baobab to discover Shadows of the Past. Stories connect us to our past, shape our present, and guide our future. African Legends and Stories is more than just storytelling. It is a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, between tradition and modernity. Subscribe now and be part of this journey. Like, comment, and share to keep these legends alive. This is African Legends and Stories, where the past speaks and the future listens.